welcome to another episode here for the Funky Pod Mindful Media and Communication. And as always, well, we're trying to be mindful, we're trying to be communicative, and we're trying to talk about something that is current, that is happening right now through the lens of media and communication theories. And this time around, as you can again see from the title, from the thumbnail, and whatever you look at when you make decisions as to which podcast you're listening to, we're talking a little bit about AI. And in this case, I'm not going to try to break down like how exactly it works from a technical point of view. I will explain certain impact factors in regards to how AI might change business, digital transformation, digital marketing, and all those things. I will not, paint the worst picture of AI, because I think just similar to other technological disruptions and inventions before, AI is there to stay. So we need to understand how it works, how to use it, how to utilize it, how to not let it take over, but how to be good at understanding how it works, which impact it could have, and how we use it to our advantage. Okay, so here's to how to be friends with AI while still being aware of potential dangers and benefits as well, of course. Let's jump right into it, okay? And in the beginning, I'm going to throw a theory at you, because that's what I do. I will throw a theory at you that is a very famous theory when it comes to media theories, media strategies, media studies. It's called the theory of technological determinism. And this technological determinism theory basically tells us that technology shapes the world, if you will, okay, if you just explain it in a nutshell. So technology influences the world and how it works. So if we have a technological development such as the internet, for example, the world will change. Communication will change, politics change, relationships change, education changes, business changes. Everything will change based on the impact technology has. Now, there are certain factors in regards to how technology can impact society, the world, politics, business, and so on. But this theory, more or less, or proponents of the theory agree that technology will be developed no matter the external impact factors. Technology will develop further, and this technological development will have impact on society as a whole. So that's technological determinism in a nutshell. Yeah, you know determinism from a philosophical point of view, probably, meaning like I don't decide my fate, external factors decide my fate. Like it's all determined, right? So technological determinism means technology determines everything else. So technology is that external factors that we can control, because technology will develop no matter what. If you put restrictions on it, if whatever you try to censor anything, technology will find a way to develop further, and this further development will impact our society. Some sooner and later, faster, slower, but it will have a big impact on society. Then the theory that kind of counters that is the social shaping of technology. Okay, so in this theory, theorists suggest that society shapes technology. Okay, so the restrictions that you have in a country, for example, shape how technology can be developed, how technology can be adapted. India bans TikTok, for example. That has an impact on society and on how technology will be developed based on that ban, for example. So we have those two technologies, technological determinism versus the social shaping of technology. And those are two very contrasting views that have always been debated. So there's no consensus as to what is true. Okay. So again, it's about whether technology drives social change, determinism, or if social factors shape technological development, social shape of technology. In the context of like AI, what we're discussing today, this theory helps you to question whether AI is inevitably changing the communication landscape, or if we have the power to shape AI, how we integrate it into digital strategies. Okay, so that's why it's so important to understand the theories that lie behind it. As always, when we come to those academic questions, right, what is right, what's wrong, there's no black and white, because life's not black and white, as we know. So there's probably like some form of middle ground, Like one influences the other and the other way around, vice versa, right? So one more time, determinism versus social shaping of technology. Does AI impact the way we communicate, the way we do business, the way we understand media, create media? Do we utilize AI in order to make our business better, in order to communicate better, in order to create better media content? What is true, right? Again, probably a circle where it's difficult to say what's the beginning, what's the end. We will try to shed some more light on that. And to shed some more light on that, I'd like to add another theory to this, which is called the diffusion of innovation theory. Maybe we had this before on the podcast. If you listen to the podcast for a longer time, you already know it. If not, let me quickly explain. So the diffusion of innovation theory suggests that how, why, and at what rate new ideas and technology spread through different cultures. So if you understand this process, this can help businesses to predict and influence the adoption of AI in the digital strategies that we're using. Yeah, you could consider factors like relative advantage, for example, compatibility, complexity, and so on. So again, this diffusion of innovation is very interesting for certain reasons, okay? And it's not just business. I mean, I'm focusing a little bit on business here, of course, but it's not just business because there's so many, and you see I'm hesitating just because there's so many impact factors to that. It's not just can your business afford it? It's also will your workforce be willing to do it? Are they able to understand it? Are they going to embrace it? Will they be against it? So there are many influential factors that you have to consider when it comes to the theory. Okay, so it's not just can I afford it, because let's hope you can afford it, but will you be able to actually have your company, your employees, your workforce buy in and be part of it and embrace it? Very often that is not the case because, yeah, you as the founder, the CEO, whatever, you're very much into it. You're like, yeah, cool, new technology, let's try. The workforce might not. They're like, oh, this is going to replace me eventually. Like, why would I embrace it, right? So there are different thought processes there which lead to different forms of innovation and embracing innovation. Okay, so that's something that you should consider as someone who's probably in the decision making, in the hierarchy somewhat up there. Consider how your workforce might feel about that. Okay, it's not just can I afford it. That's important to understand when talking about the theory. Very often superficial is just can I afford it, but it's not. Okay, it is not only about the money in this case. Okay, so that's very, very, very difficult. Also, and this is not the only theory that is sometimes just understood superficially. One that is attached to this one is called media ecology. And again, if you've been a frequent listener to this podcast, you might remember media ecology because one of our favorite media theorists, Marshall McLuhan, had played a big part in this media ecology perspective. And when we look at it through the AI lens again, right? So this theory says that media itself, regardless of the content, affects society by changing the environment in which people function. Okay, so if you, again, AI lens right now with digital strategies. So this tells us that the mere presence of AI in our communication tools could fundamentally alter how we interact, regardless of the specific message being conveyed. Now, this relates to Marshall McLuhan's most famous saying, the medium is the message, right? Meaning that merely having AI there will impact the way we understand things and the way we function. What does that mean? That means that even though, let's assume, you're not using AI as a chatbot, you have an actual person running your chatbot, running your chat. If I'm the audience and I talk to your chat, I would simply assume it's a bot, it's AI. Hence, I might be less friendly, I might be more angry, I might be more agitated, and I will be mad at the chat for not providing me with an answer with the answer that I want. While if I would know that it's a real person, I would be more polite. I would be like, hey, no problem, sure, take your time. But assuming it's a bot, I will be like, come on, what the hell, give me the answer. Oh, this is annoying, quit, cancel, whatever, right? So this means that the mere presence of AI can change the way I understand the message, even though in this case, it might not even be AI giving me the message. I hope that makes sense. Okay, so the medium is the message. If it's a chat, I assume, for example, it's a bot, it is AI, just because I know AI is around, it's everywhere. Okay. So this part of media ecology can tell us that the audience changes the way they interact with us, for example, if you're consumer customer facing. Okay. And I mean this is then of course leads to A, the customer service agent not being happy, but B, also to maybe loss of brand value, right? Because if the audience thinks that we're only communicating via AI, maybe there's like less of a connection there. So then the brand value also suffers from that, because then the bond isn't as strong anymore as it used to be. Okay? So not knowing who I'm talking to could actually be a problem there. Okay. However, it does make life. I mean, using AI obviously makes life as a business, as a brand, way easier. Okay. Attached to this now, to like, shall we use AI to communicate with consumers and audience and so on? We have ethical considerations in this regard, like when it comes to AI-driven communication, and I found a very interesting theory there. I don't think we discussed it on the podcast just yet. And we talk about the utilitarianism versus deontological ethics. And my students are going to be like, oh my God, why this? We hated ethics. But those ethical frameworks, and we only use those two, okay? They contrast kind of like this consequence-based decision making. Utilitarianism, did I say that right? Hard word. Let me read it because I wrote it down. Utilitarianism, right? God, this is a hard word. Versus, I should just say consequence-based decision making. Versus duty-based ethics, which is deontology, as you know, right? So when we integrate AI into digital strategies, the business gotta grapple with whether to prioritize outcomes, like increased efficiency, for example, or like adhere to those strict ethical principles like transparency, privacy, and so on, even if those principles might limit short-term gains. Okay, so I mean that's what every business should struggle with, I'm saying, because not every business does. Most businesses, let's be honest, are focused only on outcome, only on money. But yeah, so you would struggle with consequence-based decision-making, make this decision, make more money, or actual ethics, deontology, right? Should I be doing this? Should I be more transparent? Should I think more about what's good or bad for my audience? Okay, so that's something we should all keep in mind. The answer to that, I mean, just look around, look at all the businesses. What do you think? What their thought process is? Are they really looking at ethics, or are they not? You know the answer. Let me know in the comments. Okay. What also really plays into this is that in now the age of AI, let's just call it what it is, right? In the age of AI, authenticity plays a big part. And again, research shows, I mentioned this before in the pod, that Gen Z in particular, even more so than millennials, really value authenticity when it comes to brand value, okay? When it comes to, can I align with a brand? So when we look at authenticity in branding, we got to figure out, like, A, we understand how important those genuine, non-artificial experiences are in creating brand value. But B, if you're using AI, can we maintain it? Because if you use an AI, maintaining authenticity becomes more challenging and crucial. Because, you know, we got to balance, taking the previous theory into consideration, we got to balance efficiency of AI with that human touch that consumers just crave that much. So how do we do that? Because AI, more efficient, faster, In every digital marketing class, we talk about personalization. Hyper-personalization is so important. So utilizing data as fast as possible to give the audience a hyper-personalized experience is especially crucial. I'm tripping over my words because it's so important. But what about the human touch? How do we integrate that? So what's the balance between efficiency, hyper-personalization, and human touch? And how do we integrate the human touch into the customer experience, into the customer journey, if you will? That's the question, and you have to figure out as a brand, as a marketer, as a digital transformation specialist, how do we not lose that? And it could be in marketing, that is in sales, that's in transformation, that's in internal strategies. You always you need that human touch for the buy-in from, be that internal stakeholders, be this like an external audience. No matter who you're trying to convince of whatever you're trying to do, you need that buy-in from the workforce, the audience, whoever you're facing. And if you don't have the human touch, this will be hard to do. So moving on, right, from like how do we add the human touch to a little bit of the future of work in digital communication, okay? If you look at a theory again, and I think one fitting one would be like the post-industrial society theory, if you will, a rather famous one when it comes to like looking at how technology shapes society. And this theory describes the economics and social changes resulting from a shift from manufacturer-based to a service-based economy, which we have been going through, of course, in a while. So, yeah, if you look at like manufacturing-based, 1900s, right, to now service-based economy. And AI, of course, reshapes digital communication. So now we're seeing like that further evolutionary step towards a knowledge-based economy. And in this knowledge-based economy, human creativity, emotional intelligence, and so on will become even more valuable from my point of view. Because this is the only thing that will set us apart from AI. Well, hopefully, right? Manufacturing has been done by machines for a long time now. So then we moved into service-based economy. Now machines, robots, AI takes over services, right? Digital services, physical services too. So then the next step is knowledge-based economy, creativity, communication, emotional intelligence. So that is where we should still be setting ourselves apart. So this becomes more and more valuable. And if you're running any form of business, and I don't care which kind of business it is, knowledge is your friend. It's what you're aiming for. This is what sets you apart from everybody else. Your knowledge in terms of then creativity and emotional intelligence. And this is B2C, this is B2B, it's everything. Doesn't matter who you're facing. Knowledge, creativity, emotional intelligence is what makes you authentic, to connect to the previous theory, and what will give you your unique selling point. Yeah? So embrace it. Don't ignore it. Don't just give in and let AI do everything. You have so much more to offer, says the guy who really is into digital stuff. Okay, I have two more things to say here. One is a strategy for mindful AI implementation, because mindful media and communication is the tagline of the podcast. And there's a theory that's called socio-technical system theory, okay? So this theory, this approach emphasizes the interaction between people and technology in workplaces, and it aims for like this joint optimization, okay? So when we integrate AI, this theory reminds us to consider not just the technological capabilities, but also how they interact with the human processes, skills, organizational structures, and so on. So it means you can't just throw in AI and like, okay, replace all those jobs. You cannot, because there's so much more to a job than just the pure job description. Yes, AI can read the job descriptions and then, hey, send that tweet, create a blog post and all the things. Sure, automate emails, create newsletters, send tracking, all the things, of course. But there's more to it. There's more context to it, right? Humans are very good at understanding context, while AI is still learning it, getting way better at it. We're still faster, we're still better. Once we figure out something and we optimize it, it's hard to beat us, right? So we got to figure out, if we're implementing AI, how to not let's not replace our workforce. How can we aid them to be faster, to be better, to be more effective, to have more fun, have more free time to think about the crucial creative stuff that matters, and maybe automate the, let's call it, the boring stuff, right? Like sending out 1,000 newsletters, for example. Okay, so it's not machines, AI versus employees. It should be AI and employees together for happy ending, so to speak. Okay, I'm in Thailand, I can say that. I hope that makes sense, though. Okay. Last theory I want to throw at you, and there's 8 theories. I think that's enough for a 20-minute podcast, and good job and like listening and taking it all in. The last one just talks about the impact of AI on audience perception, right? So audience perception and engagement. And here we talk about one of our friends when it comes to media theories one more time, use and gratification. You hopefully remember that if you listened to the podcast before. Use and gratification explains on how individuals use media to satisfy their needs rather than how media affects people. Okay, so I'm going to pick the media I want to listen, consume, because it satisfies my needs, entertainment, education, whatever, rather than media just coming at me, telling me what to think, what to do, and so on. In the context of AI-driven communication, if you understand audience needs, becomes even more critical because AI can potentially tailor content and interaction to the individual preference at like unprecedented scale. So if you understand the audience and you can give them what they really want, using gratification, what they really want, they pick it. So if you offer it to them, they will pick us all the time over our competition. That is great. If we miscategorize them, mislabel them, if we misunderstand our audience, we will show them the content that they will not pick. So then we are mispersonalizing on scale, which can have dramatic impact on like them completely ignoring us, maybe even unfollowing us, not checking anymore, and so on. So it becomes really more important to understand your audience better than ever. Understand who you're talking to, how you're talking to them, what they want, what they need, what they like, what they dislike, their deep thoughts, fears, as much as you can without being creepy. Don't be creepy. But yeah, getting the personalization down is very important. Okay. If you don't get it down and you're still working with AI on a scale, you might create the wrong kind of content that gets you ignored more than getting you the engagement that you really want. Okay. Whew. All right. Time to wrap things up. It's been almost 25 minutes. So, last theory. See, I lied a little, but when I'm concluding, I have one more theory for you. In this, wrapping it up. If you talk about whether or not AI is going to be a good thing or a bad thing, like we can talk about like technological utopianism, like utopia, or dystopianism, right? So it's very contrasting viewpoints. Like they either celebrate technology as a solution to societal problems or warn against its potential negative impacts. So if you balance this perspective, that's pretty crucial to integrate AI on a smart, reasonable level, because of course it requires a nuanced approach. If you don't have this nuanced approach, if you just completely trust it and like AI is going to be the savior of the world and just giving in, then maybe AI might take over because we're not thinking critically. If you're hating on it, then we might get left behind and we lose the potential to actually utilize that amazing new technology that can help us to be more effective and focus, take away like those boring, repetitive tasks and focus on more creative work. Right? So there needs to be a balance between utopianism and dystopianism in order to actually move forward and thrive with those new technological developments, such as AI, which we've been discussing today. It's important to leverage the benefits, but always stay vigilant about those potential drawbacks. Of course, we don't want Skynet to take over. All right. So now I'm curious, of course, like about your thoughts. What do you think about AI, how it impacts us, the world, society, the future? Are you embracing it? Are you scared of it? Shout out in the comments of the podcast on Spotify, wherever else you're listening to. Leave a review. Rate this thing. It would be really beneficial. It would be really cool. Follow for more. Until then, if AI won't take over, I will talk to you within 1 week again. Stay safe. Take care.